What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we are looking at an incredible stovehold, probably the top 3 whiskey stoveholds that I've ever had. Run the video. All right then, folks, thank you for joining us for another new episode here on the Whiskey Cove, where we will be looking at a recent store haul that I've put together from different stores over the last 45 days, and we have some crazy bottles here. With that being said, if you haven't already, definitely go and check out the charity raffle that we are doing. It's going to be on a live stream November 22nd for St. Jude Hospital and Research Center. It's $10 a ticket. Look down below in the description, you'll see all the prizes and some incredible bottles. And we also managed to get 2 sponsorships, which is going to help bump us up to our $1,000 target. And also, I'm giving up some monetization from the channel from that, and also throwing in some really great bottles and a Cuban cigar as well. So you definitely want to be a part of that. With that being said, let's dive headfirst into this video. And as always, let's look at some of the bottles that we were able to kill off here in the Whiskey Cove. First up is the Doc Swinson's Alter Eagle Triple Cask. This is finished on sherry and cognac. So this is kind of like the MGP blend, but then they finish on the sherry and cognac casks. I really like this bottle of whiskey. I really like it smoking it with a cigar because it's not as high proof some of the other kind of cigar whiskeys. This is 47.9% ABV or 95.8 proof. Really great bottle. I'm thinking I'm going to buy it again. It's only going to cost you around $50. So if you're someone who doesn't want to spend the big bucks on a cigar finished whiskey, probably should pick that up. It's not labeled as a cigar finish whiskey, but I think it's perfect for that. Next up was 13th Colony. This is the straight Southern Bourbon. We managed to kill this off. We didn't get it too long ago. With help of the patrons, we sent them samples of this month, in the last few months, and we got that killed off. I probably wouldn't get another bottle of that. It's just too big. I don't like 2 big bottles that sit on the shelves, unless it's Old Forester Birthday Bourbon, which I've been looking for a very long time. With that being said, let's just delve into this. And some of these bottles are just out of this world. And I'll give you a little bit of information of when I was able to get each bottle as well. So straight up, let's talk a little bit about this. We talked about it on Whiskey's Lookout for a video, and this is Knob Creek 10-year rye. So I saw this at a local liquor store here in Colorado called Daveco Wine and Liquors. I say local, making it sound like a small shop on the corner. It's the biggest liquor store in the world. It's a big deal. So this did set me back $70. I think that's maybe about $5, $10 too much. That's a small amount of money. I was able to pick up some other bottles there for a reasonable price, so it kind of offset themselves. 100 proof, 50% ABV, 10-year rye. Very excited to get into this. I'm hoping for really big things from this. We might not see that a while until we kind of hit fall, all the winter time, and then we'll definitely bring a review your way. Let's stick with this receipt because we have a couple of more bottles here. And you guys have been telling me I need to pick up this bottle for a while. And I have. It's the Bardstown Bottled in Bond. So this is the Origin series, 50% ABV, 100 proof. This is the 6-year Bardstown owned distillate, corn 68%, wheat 20, malted barley 12. So I paid $49.99. Maybe a little high for Bottled in Bond whiskey. You kind of like it to sit $25 to $40. However, a lot of you folks are telling me I need to pick this up. So I'm very excited that I was able to get this. And for $50, I think that's about right in line with how much they generally cost. And then the last whiskey I was able to get for this, from this store, was the Evan Williams 1783. Another bottle that you folks at home was telling me I should definitely get. I've tried this a couple of times before, many moons ago, so I'm excited that I was able to get this. That is 45% ABV or 90 proof. I did get the American Hero version because I do believe that it is picked by some vets, and then also some money goes back into kind of the veteran community. So really happy that I was able to pick this up, and I paid a grand total of $21.59. So really great value bourbon right there, and if it's as good as any of you folks have been telling me it is, I'll be very excited to get into it. That was the first. We have too much more. Next, let's do something fun. Old Forester single barrel strength rye. This is Warehouse I Floor 3. So this is the second one of these I picked up in the last couple of months. Yeah, same workhouse, same floor. So I think they dropped a couple of, like, one single barrel across a couple of states, because I actually sold this exact bottle in Kentucky on my trip. I paid $90 for this. Very happy with it. I paid $95 for my other one, so I paid $90 for this. Like I said, I rarely see these, so I was very happy to get it. The bottle looks like that. It's the barrel strength version. These are great, love them. Big kind of rye, sweet rye notes, very similar to the Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye. That would be a good face-off series right there. Next up, we have a 1792 Bottled in Bond. This is one of the single barrel picks. This was at a store that generally had a lot of stuff that was quite expensive. However, they did have a pick of this, and I don't know if it was because they weren't really selling it as fast as maybe they would have liked to, but this was about $45. I'm not saying that's about the price you want to be paying for it, but everything else at this store was like up 20% above the MSRP. So we're really happy that we were able to pick up one of these, because if you do not already know, the 1792 bottled in bond single barrel picks usually top tier. Moving on, let's go to another 1792 bottle, and we picked up another 1792 aged 12 years. So this is kind of the second one I think we picked up in the last few months, because we picked up one on the last store haul. So I think it's just kind of that time of year. And I can tell you, because I have the receipt for this, I picked this up for $65. Bargain. I bought these maybe one every year for the last 3 years. I think that's the cheapest I've ever paid for it. I think the first time I paid for it was like $75. So really happy that I was able to pick this up for this price, because I think this is just about my favorite 12-year bourbon compared to maybe like a Weller 12. So really excited that I was able to get that. And big bottles just keep on coming, because we have a Buffalo Trace. What is a motto that we say on this channel? If you see a Buffalo Trace single barrel, have to pick it up. So this was about $28 from Vineland Liquor in Havana, Colorado. Again, much like the other store, they had a lot of expensive stuff there, but for whatever reason they had a single barrel of this. Maybe again, much like the bottled in bond, it wasn't moving as much. For about $28, of course it's a no-brainer. If it's over $30, I'm not going to pay that for it, because we find them everywhere in Colorado. I say everywhere. If you live in Colorado, you're going to find 4 to 5 a year, which is enough to see you through. However, I know in other states, it's hard enough just to find Buffalo Trace, let alone a single barrel pick. So if it's over $30, make your own judgment on that. If you have to pay $40, $45, I do think if the whiskey's worth it. Just for me, I think that below $30 makes a little bit of sense here in Colorado. Next up, and we have Copper Sky. So this is a local distillery here in Colorado. They source a lot of this stuff from MGP alongside Alberta in Canada. This is a special bottle because this is whiskey finished in amaretto barrels. So this is 63.5% ABV or 127 proof, around 6 years old. So really high ABV, which is good, I think, for this, because amaretto is very sweet. If you've ever tried this, like an Italian liqueur, like a Disaronno, so it's very sweet, very almond forward, very cherry forward. So you probably would need the proof on this to cut through it. So I paid $83 for this, which I don't think is very bad for a finished whiskey. My only problem is it doesn't say bourbon, it just says whiskey finished in. They generally always say that, so it might just be the light whiskey that they tend to use quite a lot, which isn't bad at all. The light whiskey that they get from MGP is good stuff, but this is the 6-year age stuff, so I'm not sure what the mash bill is on this. I'd love to find out. But for $83, the stuff from Copper Sky is usually good, and they're pretty darn good at finishing. Next up, we have a BRT02. We went back to a store that we picked a spare up of this a little while ago, and lo and behold, they still had this on the shelf. It was $74.99, so probably about $10 more than, or $10 or $5 more than this originally was for the MSRP when it first initially came out. But however, because it's been on the shelf for like 2 years, I think $75 is an absolute steal for this now. This is the best wood finishing series that they've ever put out, Maker's Mark, in my opinion. I haven't tried the Heart, the new release. Spoiler alert for the next Kentucky haul, I do have a bottle. However, I have not tried that yet. I have tried this, and it's better than the BEP, better than the RC19. It's so good. It has more of a double oak, toasted type palate, very sweet, but the proof and like the wheater notes kind of cut through it. It's really well balanced. Very happy that I was able to pick that up for $75. I probably will keep picking them up if I can find them for around that mark until I can't find them anymore. We have 5 bottles left. Let's do these 2 together, and the last 3 are absolute hitters, and we saved the best for last, let me tell you that. So these 2 we picked up in the same store. This was at Atlas Valley Wine and Purveyors. This was a store in Lafayette, Colorado, and I've been looking for these bottles for a while. So this is their Gariana oak casks, and I believe that is a wood specific to the Pacific. specific to the Pacific Northwest. There you go. And they usually sell around $80. However, this store, Atlas Valley Wine and Purveyors, were having a sale, and it was at $59.99 per bottle. So I had to get two. And we got another one for a friend, so we absolutely lucked out, because not only did I find a bottle that I was going to be willing to pay full price for, they were on sale on clearance. So very happy that I was able to get these. This is 54.4% ABV and 108.8 proof. Apparently these have Kansas City barbecue smoke type flavors and some really nice caramel sauce, so I'm very excited to get into these. So we are going to crack one and then we're going to bunker the other one, because we do like our Doc Swensons. 3 bottles, probably in order of rareness. Let's do the least rare first, which still is a pretty rare bottle. And we were able to pick up a Blanton's. Haven't been able to pick one of these up for a while. We had one on the, which I donated to the charity Raffle here, which is awesome. So you have a chance of winning this. This one is April 30th, 2024, letter S. And like I said, I went to a store, they had an allocated whiskey drop. At the time I had got there, I had a lot going on that day. Everything was sold out and they just had a Blanton's for about $70. And I was like, just give me the Blantons, I'll take it. I drove probably about 10-15 miles to get there, so I didn't really want to come home empty-handed. We get a decent amount of Blantons in Colorado. You can probably, if you're connected to like the Facebook groups and social media, you can probably find one within a month at MSRP. So, and they're always pretty good gifts and or giveaways and stuff like that. We always pick up a Blantons. These next 2 bottles, very special. So this first bottle, I was able to buy it at MSRP from Argonaut Wine and Liquor. They had a decent drop of these Russells. They spoiler alert of what it is. I paid $269.99 for it. It is of course Russell's 15, and as you can see, it is open. So this came, it is so good. This came all the way to Kentucky with me, because me and that bourbon dude did a blind where we blinded the 15, the 13, the 2 Camp Nelsons, and then a rare breed non-chill filtered, and that was during the live stream, so you might want to go and check that out, because yeah, it was the most craziest blind ever. But for about close to $300 out the door, I was kind of apprehensive a little bit. I've already paid $250 for the Camp Nelson single rick house. That's great, by the way, but this is just on another level. I definitely want to try to find a backup, because Russells have a tendency of, when they first released the 13, if you remember, that was such a great bottle of whiskey. These other 13s since have been good, but nowhere near as good as that one. So I want to try and get another one of these, like the first edition of the 15, and kind of bunker it and then go back to it on a special occasion. But for $280, would I buy it again? Well, yeah, because I'm looking for one for that price, which is crazy actually, close to $300 for that bottle of whiskey. Yeah, that's kind of the price that you pay, I guess, now to get those sort of bottles. However, from an expensive great bottle to a great bottle that I managed to get a little cheaper. So there was someone on a Facebook group here, local group, and they were trying to offload and trade out some bottles. And they had this bottle, and I offered them a trade. So a couple of years ago, and this was a part of a store haul that we did, I managed to pick up a Stag Junior, a single barrel Stag Junior from Argonaut Wine and Liquor here in Colorado. It was hazmat. It was 70, I believe, 70.2% ABV, 140.4 proof. And they're kind of quite sought after bottles. So I offered him that hazmat bottle, and then I offered him an OWA store pick for this bottle. And I think he watched this channel or kind of knew a little bit about what we do. And he was like, yes, I'll do that. I've been looking for that Hazmat Stag Junior for a while. And this is the bottle that we traded for. This is a 2023 George T. Stag. So, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, by the way. This, like I said, the 2023 edition, 67.5% ABV or 135 proof. We're getting pretty low on the 2022 edition I have over my shoulder, so I'm super excited that I was able to get this. I know there might be some of you who are watching today's video and probably telling me you shouldn't have given up that hazmat, because there's never going to be another one like it. But I have a couple of Stag Juniors. That was the only hazmat that I had, so I'm okay with giving it up. If you're someone who watches the channel, I generally live in like the 50 to 60% ABV range, or 100 to 120 proof. I do like the hazmats every now and again, but I'm not reaching for them, and that's why that bottle was still closed. So I'm definitely gonna be reaching for this. Even with the high ABV on this bottle, it drinks like juice. It drinks so sweet. I can't specifically speak to this edition, but the 2022 was just so approachable. So much big Buffalo Trace cherry vanilla notes, that kind of classic Buffalo Trace sweet oak in the background there as well. Absolutely stoked I was able to get this bottle, and absolutely stoked that we were able to get the Russell 15. Obviously, I'm very fortunate that I was able to get all these bottles this month. I spent a lot of money in this last 45 days. I've spent more, as you see on my shoulder here in Kentucky. I think these might be the last store haul videos of the year. We might do one at the end of the year, just as some stuff maybe trickles in, but we'll see. With that being said, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video as we drink through the world's whiskeys one glass at a time. George T. Stagg, run the video.